We're already into the first week of November, and today I want to share with you guys November tips. I have 8 important tips. You're really going to like the 8th one. I think you're going to love it, but let's get right into it. Tip number 1, in the month of November, we really need to be thinking about how to feed our bees. Now, it's important that we feed bees. We're either going to feed them some liquid feed, some fondant. We're going to give them something because I'm located in Illinois. And here in the Midwest, in November, there isn't anything available, so we really need to feed our bees some sort of a supplement. I like to feed 1-to-1 sugar water. I've made a special feeder board that I can feed from the top with my mixture of protein and other important additives to help bees build up more bees of winter physiology. So I'm not really so much into feeding bees 2-to-1, but I like to give them a lighter syrup, help them raise some bees of winter physiology. The second thing I want to encourage you guys to think about is try to avoid inspecting your hives if you're in a colder climate like I am. Now, we've had some nice weather here lately. It's been warm enough actually to do a little bit of inspections, but here is why I don't like to do it now this late in the year. Number one, I could actually carelessly mishandle a frame and kill my queen, and I can't replace her. It's too late in the year to be thinking about replacing my queen. And number two, you always have to consider robbing. Hives can be robbed out. I'm telling you what, I walk outside, I can see bees walking around just waiting for me to drop something. And so like a drop of honey or something like that. They're just scouting around looking for anything. I open up a hive, it's going to be a disaster. So I have to be really careful not to really do many inspections at all unless it's an absolute emergency. I get asked this question a lot, so this is the third tip I want to share with you guys about robber screens. Some of you ask me, is it okay to have robber screens on in November? Yeah, it's okay. Robber screens are still beneficial because robbing still can happen. And so we want to be able to protect our hives from being robbed out by stronger colonies. Keep the robber screens on as long as you feel comfortable doing that. And the fourth tip is similar. It is mouse guards. Now here in Illinois, we have a lot of corn and beans. So they harvest those fields and mice love to run into beehives. And so it's important to have a way to restrict the entrance. An entrance reducer works mostly, but you can buy special mouse guards that you can tack on the front of your hive to keep mice from building nests and overwintering with your bees. Mice can actually consume bees. They eat bees in the winter, so you want to keep the mice out. Now, before I get into my next tip, I want to encourage you guys to watch my live stream coming up this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. So tip number 5 is one I haven't really talked a lot about, but I thought it'd be good to touch on this. What about breaking the Propolis seal? The Propolis. Propolis? What about breaking the Propolis seal? I mean, a lot of times in the winter, that propolis gets so hard that it will not reseal again. And we need that to be sealed off to kind of help keep the cracks sealed, right? The distance and space between the two boxes, if you have 2 or 3 boxes on, that propolis is going to keep those boxes glued together and keep any wind from seeping in between the boxes. And if you break that propolis seal and it's too cold to ever reseal again, then it's going to leave a gap or the boxes could be blown apart. So just use this rule of thumb. If you're going to open up your hives, if you're going to separate boxes and break that propolis seal, be sure and just count on it being warm enough really soon to maybe cause that to bite together to get, kind of loosened up enough to seal again. Now, if it doesn't seal again, you're going to have to use something heavy to keep the boxes from being blown apart. And I think that's real important, especially your top covers. Tip number 6 is all about wrapping. Now that's important because a lot of you feel like you need to wrap your hives up. And there's a lot of different kind of wraps. Now wrappings have been around forever with beekeeping. It's nothing new. We've wrapped forever with foam boards, with insulation, with black roofing paper. It's been around forever. I know some of you are kind of new to the scene in beekeeping and you start thinking, what if I do this? What if I do that? It's kind of rare to have that never be tried before. If you feel like you have to wrap your hives in order to get them through winter, there are 6 things that are more important than wrapping. That's right. These 6 things determine whether your bees survive winter more than wrapping. You want me to tell you what the 6 are? Okay. Number 1, the first thing is mite control. Number 2, the second thing is viral loads that the mites spread. And the third thing is having a strong queen. The fourth thing is having strong population. You got to have a lot of bees in there. The fifth thing is you have to have food. You got to have resources for the bees to consume during the winter. And the final thing is you have to have a lot of bees of winter physiology. If any of these 6 things are missing, if any of these 6 things are a problem, then wrapping it is not going to save the day. Now, before I get into tip number 7, let me invite you guys to please subscribe. I appreciate you guys. I love you for watching my channel, being a part of Beak Squad, my audience here on my YouTube channel. It really means a lot to me to see my subscriber list really increase. And I appreciate that so much. So please take a moment right now, because I work hard for you guys to give you free content, and I kind of break it down on easy terms so you can understand it. And so please subscribe. By the way, talking about breaking things down in an easy way to understand it, have you ever been to a conference and you see a title that looks like, oh, I want to go hear this person speak because that sounds like something that I need to know more about. But by the time you listen to their entire presentation, they've just confused you more about what they were going to be talking about. And I'm not saying that all scientists do that, but sometimes it's difficult for people to really break something down in real simple terms. And that's what I try to do. I don't like being talked down to. I don't like people telling me things and showing how smart they are when they tell me something. Just make it simple for me. So that's what I try to do too. Maybe it's because I'm a simple person. All right, let's get into tip number 7. Oh, and thanks for subscribing. But tip number 7 is about a windbreak. Now, winds are terrible where I live. Oh my gosh, I'm cold right now and it's not even hardly cold outside, but it's so windy. My poor bees. I live on the prairie. I see people having great winter success and they live maybe in a non-windy area in the south or something. And it's like, you don't even have winter like we have winter. It's tough when it's cold and it's extremely windy here on the prairie. So you need a windbreak of some sort. It really does help your bees. Now, that could be like building a fence, trying to put them against a building on the backside of a building where the predominant wind just won't hit them. And that's what I try to do sometimes. This year, though, I've kind of built myself into a mess. I've got bees being sheltered by a southern wind, but we have north wind. And I just can't figure out yet how to build a north windbreak. And I probably won't. And that's probably going to hurt me. I need a northern windbreak, but I don't want to spend a ton of money on building that. So we'll see. I may just have to wrap them up or something, but I really prefer a windbreak over wrapping. Now, before I get into tip number 8, I want to tell you guys I'm excited about our classes being 50% off on Black Friday. It starts November the 24th all the way through Cyber Monday, November the 27th. 50% off. That's half price. So be sure and take advantage of that. I'll leave a link here. Don't go there now. They're not 50% off. Hold the link on that weekend and you can enjoy those classes at half price. Now let's get into tip number 8. This is the most important one. I told you guys I was excited about this one and I am pumped and excited. I think this is going to be the most important tip for you. Here it is. Are you ready? It is this. Relax because it's going to be okay. Now, I think that is important. I know you were probably expecting me to reveal some great new tool or great new product or great new feeding additive or something. No, it's about you relaxing. It's going to be okay. God forbid if your bees died this winter or, you just lose them. I hope that doesn't happen. But if it did, it's okay. Look, you did the best you could with what you had to work with. We all have time restraints. We all have health needs that we have to take care of. We all have aging parents or children to take care of, keep our cars running, go to work. Oh my goodness, bees can't be everything. We try to do what we can. It's okay if you didn't get every I dotted and every T crossed. I didn't. It's okay if you weren't perfect with every inspection. I wasn't. It's okay if you didn't get your bees totally prepared for winter. I didn't. So, we have other things going on. I understand that. So here's the deal. It's going to be okay. Tip number 8, relax, because even if you lose your hives this winter, guess what? You got drawn comb. You got a wealth of knowledge from this year that you can add to your knowledge bank and do a better job next year. One of the things I'm trying to remind you guys too is that you just have to be a little bit better every year. If you're 1% better in beekeeping every year, then in 100 years, you'll be 100% better. No, that's not that. What does that even, what am I even saying? Nobody can be 100 years old. Let me back that up again. Okay. If you're 1% better every week, let's try it again. If you're 1% better every week in beekeeping, that means in 2 years, you'll be 100% better in beekeeping. And You know, you don't have to be an overnight success. Just work gradually at improving your beekeeping skills. Let me ask you a personal question. How is your back doing? Beekeeping is hard on your back. If you haven't seen the video I made yet, where there is a new beekeeping invention, a new hive that's being created, it's supposed to be a lot better for your back. Take a look at this video right here, guys. I'll see you over there.